up, everybody? Welcome back. It is Monday and we've got some new videos for you. I can't stop tapping my foot. I got the Jimmy leg on a Monday, and what can you do? So we're talking about what, in my opinion, is the most difficult thing to learn on guitar ever. Ever. Now we're gonna jump on into this one and I'm gonna show you, how I think you can actually kind of beat the system and learn it, but it does take a lot of work. I don't really have tabs so much for what I'm going to cover with. If you want to check out my free guitar course, you can. That's linked down below. That actually deals with the opposite side of what we're going to talk about today. That's a more scalier approach, but let's just go ahead and get today's lesson. Now, I'm just going to cut to the chase and tell you exactly what we're talking about today. And to me, the hardest thing to learn on guitar is to play with feel and have phrasing and all these different attributes that come into just your overall sound. It's so hard to develop this stuff, and it's one of the big reasons why I've always stated that I've never been a note for note kind of guy who learned note for note what a guitar player was doing. I mainly cared about how they were doing it, the concept of it, the phrasing, the feel. That was always my bread and butter of learning stuff. So I don't know a lot of things note for note, but I always love to take these little ideas. It could be one simple phrase, something like that, that little thing right there, worth its weight in gold. I would go through guitar magazines to get one thing. So that's what we're going to be talking about, and I figured I'd break down a couple different ways how, in my opinion, you can really conquer this stuff and learn how to incorporate a lot of this into your playing, and to me, give yourself just a much more musical style of playing. Okay, so the first thing is, of course, listen to stuff that has great feel and phrasing that speaks to you. Just because I like Stevie Ray Vaughan doesn't mean that you do, or, you might like him, but you might not want to play like him. So listen to what, players that you think have great feel. You love their note choice, the way that their guitar, emits an emotion of some kind. It could be a metal guy. You could love Sinister Gates. You could love Lexi Leo. You could love Keith Scott, from Bryan Adams, There's all these guys who have amazing playing styles. You just have to figure out which one speaks to you. Now, the next thing, of course, is to not just play the notes, understand what they're doing with the notes. How are they delivering the note? So, there's so many ways to play a note. If we're just playing 7th fret on the G, are you going to pick it? Are you going to mute it? Are you going to slide into it? Are you going to slide down or up? Are you going to bend to it? There's just so many ways to play that note, so you really have to figure out exactly how they're playing it. And another, I think, important factor of feel and phrasing that can sometimes get left out is where are they playing the note? Are they playing that E note here? Are they playing it here? They sound a little bit different. I've always said fatter notes sound fatter, or fatter strings sound fatter. So, this is on the G, and that one's on the D string. It's the same octave, same pitch, but it still sounds different. So to me, that's the first step to learning this, is really find those players that you just love every note they play. For me, it's Andy Timmons, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Lots of those guys, to me, Nuno Bettencourt, Eddie Van Halen, all of them had amazing phrasing in their own style, and a lot of them did have a bluesy background, which is probably why, my playing has a little bit of that blues feel to it, but, none of them, other than, of course, Stevie, were, to me, traditional blues players. They just kind of had their own sound, which was, infused in the blues. So the next thing is you really want to work on your playing dynamics. And there's lots of ways to work on that. It's basically what I was just talking about at the end of that first little point, is figure out all the different ways you can play a note and figure out a lot of control. Now, to me, dynamics goes further than just the way the note is played. It also, to me, goes into what notes are being played to emit a sound. So if I'm trying to be very chill and subtle with stuff, I might, play with my fingers versus the pick. The fingers have a much warmer tone to them, but, it might be a major key. Obviously, it depends on the song, but, stuff that's kind of, like I said, it's just more chill. Now, if you want more aggression, maybe the pick, If you want it to sound more aggressive, play more aggressive, I can play that same lick and just be like, how much of a difference, you know, the way you were like attacking those strings. Like if you want it to have attitude, I mean, play it with attitude. So to me, figuring out the dynamic approach to notes is a huge way, because if you play everything the same, that's where you start losing a lot of feel, and if it's too much like a scale, you lose a lot of feel, and you know, it's just, I don't know, there's so much that goes into the dynamic side of it. That just gives you, to me, feel and phrasing right there, you know, just in the delivery of the note. Now the next thing I want to recommend is, I talked about listening to guitar players that have great feel and phrasing. Now, like I said, to me, and it's going to be different for each player, feel and phrasing is adding a lot of melodic attributes to your playing. Because, you know, anybody can just go like this. And boom, there's a scale, there's all the notes that make sense over a G progression. But did they say anything? Was there any feel to that? Because you can go... And while it might not have the most feel or anything, it did sound different. There were different rhythmic kind of like nuances in there. I was muting some strings. So lots of stuff in that. Now, what I'm talking about though is, listen to things that aren't guitars. If you want to really figure out some really cool phrasing stuff that'll get you out of that box, listen to other instruments. You know, I think that listening to like saxophone players is really, really interesting. Violin players, super, super cool the way that their phrasing kind of is. And learn vocal lines. I'm telling you, for one of the biggest things, if you want to be more melodic, learn vocal lines on guitar and realize how complex they are and how simple they are sometimes. And for a guitar player, it makes you really step back and be like, oh, I don't need all these notes all the time. Sometimes I just need to make sure that I'm playing the right note at the right time. So to me, that's a good way to conquer that. You know, something like that, you know, could fit the song way better than going, you know, some crazy like sweeping thing, you know, but sometimes it calls for that too. But if you listen to singers, you never hear a singer go, you know, that's something you never hear. You know, they're always very melodic. So, you know, try to create a vocal line. So obviously you could go on all day with that stuff. But to me, that's very, very fun, and just the style of playing that speaks the most to me. Like I said, you could think that Dimebag Darrell is your favorite guitar player. Another guy, great phrasing. He has a different style of phrasing and feel, but a great one to take a lot away from. I learned a lot from Dimebag, like what I was talking earlier, about how to be aggressive with your playing. So other than that, we're going to bounce on out of here, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video lesson. Like I said before, not really tabs, so if you want to check out my free course, you totally can. And I'll be back, of course, with more videos for you. And, just play some guitar. And I'll see you later. Bye, guys. Later, guys.